All right.
Okay, will it stay under the radar?
We're all set. We're gonna record and take it away.
All right. Thank you very much. Let me share my screen here, and please let me know if you can see it. Can you see my screen?
Nope, not yet.
Oh boy. Can you see now?
Nope.
Oh boy, this is gonna be fun. Ah, there it is. Should be all good.
Yes, now.
All right. Thank goodness. So thank you again for the opportunity. And today I'm going to be presenting the project that I've done in fall 2024 with guidance from Dr. Amit. And thank you for your guidance and mentorship, which guided me through this project. So the project is optimizing warehouse operation for improved efficiency and productivity. To give you a little background on this project was basically improving a warehouse that is supporting New York City Human Resource Administration services. You may or may not be aware of this. This service, the HRA, is ideally supporting New York City residents who need some assistance from social welfare point. It provides social support and also provides some construction related support from the warehouse aspect. So, problem statement, the warehouses inherently have manual process, outdated system, which is limiting interfaces with automations, and also it impacts the decision makers' capability to manage the warehouse properly. Okay, challenges. In the challenges aspect, the warehouses are on fixed budget, right, which kind of puts in the resource constraint. Bureaucratic red tapes, which needs approval for different processes, approval for changes. A lot of red tapes in a typical government environment. They're using legacy system. Primarily, they're using Excel sheets ran by Excel sheets on computers, challenges by interfacing different computer softwares to kind of identify optimal area for improvements or operation itself. Political interface. What I meant by political interface there is as the political office changes, there are priorities set with different concepts. And based on the priority, the warehouse have to rearrange their priorities, their ordering patterns, or how, the capacity itself. So that's the political interference when it comes to optimization. There is also lack of performance metrics. Performance metrics can be easily gathered when there is a system in place. Numbers are easily captured. When you're manually operating, there is a lack of metrics, and some of those metrics are not reliable. And then the change management aspect of it, which is the resistance of change from the employees itself. Okay, for focus area here, we're going to be focusing on two areas of this warehouse optimization. Inventory control is one, and the other one is order fulfillment. What does it mean by inventory control? We're trying to look at if the inventory levels are they overstocked or understocked to meet the demands. Are the accounting aspect of it, is it inaccurate counts off of it, or would it be if I'm to do a spot count, would it be accurate or would it be inaccurate? So basically, looking for accountability there and lack of visibility to management. Order fulfillment is when you're fulfilling an order, you have an individual going from point A to point B, collecting what's on the order ticket, bringing it back to the spot. Is that efficient process? Is it is the layout enough or the layout appropriate for them to efficiently operate? And what are the error rates in picking? So goals and objectives were to enhance efficiency and accuracy, optimize the inventory management, also maximize labor productivity. Project scope, assess the current process. And when I assess the current process, as I will speak more to it in the next slide and over, we've done a stakeholder analysis to assess the process and utilizing lean principles that I've learned through the master's program and also through professional settings, and try to implement those lean principles and see what areas that can we optimize. And inventory system improvement. What can we tweak in the current inventory processes that we could better manage inventory system in itself? Methodology was initial assessment with the stakeholders, and based on the initial assessment, I have created a work breakdown structure, and the work breakdown structure was further reviewed. And after the further revision of the breakdown structure, we had an implementation phase. We've done a pilot and analyzed the pilots, tweaked the work breakdown structure, and we went into the rollout phase. And during this, we've done training pre, post, and a continuous training process. Okay. Data collection. I've collected data for the sales aspect of it to identify the inventory turnover ratios. What is the demand? So more of a demand analysis to look at the sales data. Sales data essentially says you have X amount of locations that require products, and was the warehouse able to deliver to those areas? Then the second thing that we looked at was the warehouse layout, which is how was the warehouse laid out? How was the zone allocation? Was it ABC zoning, or how was it zoned out? Then also I've done a live peak time study with multiple employees based on their experience level, years of experience in the warehouse. So that summarizes the data analysis here. As you can see to your top right side, this was the Pareto analysis conducted for inventory turnover ratio. This was a peak time analysis. I've also done a regression analysis to see the relationship between the years of experience, the peak time, and also done the zone analysis. So the inventory analysis, or the turnover ratio analysis, kind of identify that 129 out of 174 items were exceeding 365 days of inventory. Essentially, what that means is it's sitting in the warehouse for a whole year without even turning over, right? So those are telltale indicators of, okay, these items probably could be reduced in inventory, or we could have other options to look at. Order fulfillment, each individual was taking approximately 40 minutes for them to pick it. And the standard deviation, meaning if you take an individual, their pick time, compared to someone else, would be have a 10-minute deviation. So that was a little too much of a deviation, and with training, we were able to reduce that. So, a proposed solution here was to reduce the excess inventory by 15% at least, explore the options of just-in-time delivery or direct delivery options, and order fulfillment, explore the options of ABC zoning and employee training. Okay, once we had applied all this, or once we had implemented all of this, we were able to convince the management and also run it up the chain to make sure a lot of these items we were able to enter agreements with other vendors for just-in-time delivery. We had standard operating procedures where we spoke about different methodologies to avoid overstocking, and also a put in plan for reduction of 15% of the excess inventory that the stakeholders had agreed upon. The stakeholders include director level involvement for approval. And order fulfillment, we had picking order accuracy was a slight improvement. Mispicking was at 0.37%, but we're also able to eliminate that to 0.07%. Picking error was a 7% error due to, again, lack of experience. We're able to reduce that with the training and zone allocation. As you can see in the previous slide, it was all over the place. now that we zoned it based on ABC zoning, which is based on demand. So once that was done, we were able to reduce the pick rate by 1.32%. In conclusion, we were able to do an improved efficiency, cost savings, and a service delivery of the warehouse. Like we were able to improve the full capacity of the warehouse to be improved, and also scalable and sustainable improvements for the public warehouse standards. And in future, they're also looking to expand that to other warehouses as well. That concludes, and I'm available for any questions that you may have.
Thank you. We have a little bit more leeway in our breakout. We don't have as many people presenting in this particular one. So if anyone has any questions, put it into chat. And we have some time at the end to take further questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so next up, you're up, John. So if you could turn on your camera, then I can spotlight you. Perfect. All right. Do you need to share a screen?
Yeah, I'm gonna share it right now.
Okay.
Is it sharing?
It is sharing, but I just see myself. So are you sharing the right screen?
How about now?
Oh, there we go.
Okay.
All right, take it away.
So yeah, I just wanted to. This is the first time that I've ever done a poster like this, so I just appreciate the opportunity as well. Quick shout out to Megan Martin for assisting me and helping me put a poster together. She sent a couple of samples and was very, very keen with all her follow up. So I really appreciated that as well with the SUNY program. Shout out to Dr. Amit as well as my mentor, guided me through putting together an effective project that makes sense and also could deliver some potential results for future companies in the construction industry. Shout out to Professor Tokos as well with his Six Sigma. He taught me a good amount of how to put together procedures and processes. So diving into my project, it was ideally a study into the decline in the workforce in the construction industry on Long Island. Ideally, the reasoning behind this was I had a director go into a meeting that we conducted. Dr. Amit put a presentation together, and he was concerned with everybody who was retiring as at the moment with the generation gap. For every two people that were retiring, we were only receiving one back. So that was kind of concerning to me as I was diving into the industry myself to be into a career. And some of the alarms that were going off where nobody was going into the trades anymore. Concerns about construction is that it's long hours, it's hard work, you're 24/7 on call, mental health is a big issue, it's not lucrative in pay, traveling all the time away from your family. Other industries usually pay more. The high cost of living as well as Long Island, a lot of people are leaving the island entirely to pursue better careers in other states that are upcoming. So the way the procedure went through my study was I did interviews, the entry level, the mid level, executive level, and ownership level. The sector of construction kind of covers a good vast of different people. So whether you're an interior designer, whether you're an assistant project manager, a project manager, an engineer, an executive, a vice president, a president, or an owner, in all aspects, you kind of play a majority role into it and you kind of intertwine all together and you work together in the industry itself to put a project together. So it was good to get an idea of all the interviewees, which I conducted was about 20. Just on my poster, just a few there that show each level of category that I interviewed, and just to see what they were all experiencing in the field together. Some of the interview process questions was 15 questions that I asked everybody was the same. So that way it wasn't being biased against anything at all. So ideally, some of the questions were, what is your position in the construction industry? Why is it that construction is growing but the labor market is declining? Why is it difficult to retain employees? Do you feel you're appropriately compensated? What are the issues you're finding in the industry that don't seem to go away or aren't expected to go away anytime soon? Do they enjoy their job, or do they just do it for a living? What do companies get wrong about good employees or employees in general? Is there transparency within their company? Social media rising, does that play a role? Is mental health an actual issue in the construction industry? So getting a lot of their thoughts was very important for this study. For the interview results in general, 99% of them did agree that there is a decline in the industry. 90% agreed that technology is playing a big factor with new equipment, new PPE. Everything is pretty much changing into a more effective skill where you need technology to kind of function in the industry in itself. Modular construction is becoming very popular. There's an increase going, probably 15% of construction is going to probably start with modular. It's prefabricated construction because a lot of people aren't going into the trades anymore. So we need to find new ways to build everything that is in high demand. COVID-19, about 40% said that COVID-19 played an impact in the decline because of, work from home guidelines. A lot of people kind of figured that it was time to retire, or just a factor of kind of the material and everything going up and down drive the factor in decline as well. The trades as well. A lot of them agreed that a lot of people aren't going into the trades and they need to bring them back into, whether it's middle school, high school, some sort of guideline where they could put into students and nurture them from the beginning all the way to the end. 100% of them agreed that they have to have a passion, that they're passionate about the construction industry, whether they get paid minimal or not, from entry level to mid level, executive level, and ownership level. They all agreed that they all really enjoyed the industry in itself, and that's what's kept them in there for so long. Following that, I did a questionnaire. I expected about 100 people with the questionnaire, but I received 142. It was all anonymous, so a lot of people kind of were a little bit more engaging in these questions. So some of the questions were, are you burnt out? And a majority of them said yes. Are they happy with their current employer? A majority of them said yes. Should people work 4 days instead of 5? A lot of people said yes. A lot of the positions, again, were engineers, project managers, vice presidents, contractors, assistants, and just construction laborers. Um, there was a question of how likely are to switch to your current job, and most likely. A lot of them were kind of in the factor of they will probably switch their job, as well as if their work environment is hostile. A lot of them did agree. A good amount of the stuff on the questions as well was asking what companies could do to better implement and retain employees. So better work culture, better pay, better health benefit packets, whatever kind of aligns more with the industry in itself. 93% at the moment, construction firms are looking to fill in people, but they just can't find a lot of people that develop the technology skills that are needed. So 77% of them are pretty much stuck in finding the skills necessary for all the changes that are happening in construction. And it's just dwindling more and more down. So this, all given the fact, kind of proved that there is a decline and that there should be a concern in the industry in itself, and to be able to see what other results we could drive to get more people into the trades, get more people interested in construction, and whether, they could market it in a better light than what a lot of people perceive construction for it to be, which is 24/7 on call, hard work, long hours. You need to have tough skin. And me being in the industry myself, I don't necessarily think you need to have tough skin. I just think that you just need to be able to communicate effectively and to implement some good guidelines and good packages that take care of your employees and, serve the best you possibly can. So just the acknowledgement of the Associated General Contractors of America, and just thank you to all of them that participated in the study. And that's pretty much it. So if anybody has any questions, I'm more than happy to take.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I love these sessions. I always learn stuff. All right. Let's get our next presenter. If you could turn on your camera so I can pin you. Perfect. Let me pin you. Then we'll have you share your screen. And you're currently still on mute.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you. Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, hold on. Let me get started. Okay, my topic's name is trade-off in wafer scale processor design with chisel and variolator. My advisor is Zhen Xie, and I'm the presenter Huan Liu. And let's introduce myself. My name is Huan Liu, and I'm a second year master's student in computer science at Binghamton University. I will soon begin my PhD studies under the supervision of Professor Zhen Xie, with a research focus on designing novel accelerators for large language models. So, let me do a quick abstract. The demand for high performance computing has driven innovations in wafer scale processors, which promise massive parallelism, reduce interconnect latency, and improve efficiency over traditional multi-chips designs. However, designing and implementing such processors presents significant trade-off in performance, powers, and area and verification complexities. This project explored the use of Chisel, a high-level hardware design language, and Verilator, an advanced open-source hardware simulator, to implement and evaluate wafer-scale processor architecture. Okay, let's move on. So let me introduce what is Chisel. Chisel is a hardware construction language embedded in Scala, used in design and generate digital circuit at the RTL level. RTL means register transistor logic. Uh, that means Chisel can use their code to generate a Verilog code. So that's a what is Chisel. And what is Verilator? The Verilator is a high performance simulator that converts Verilog code into C++ or System C for fast scale circle accurate simulations. Okay, let's move on. So there is a project I want to introduce is RISC-V Mini. RISC-V Mini is a simple RISC-V three-stage pipeline written in Chisel. It has been a crucial example in various project developments, including Chisel 3. Simulation and verification methodologies. It implements RISC-V 32i of the user level RSA version 2.0 and the machine level RSA of the privileged architecture version 1.7. Unlike other simple pipelines, it also contains simple instructions and data caches. So let us take a look at the logic graphs. We can see that there are three stages: fetch, execute, write back. So at the left side, there is a instruction cache. We use the instruction cache to transfer what we need to the instruction register. So that means IR. So the IR comes to the IMM gem. That means we can use it IR to generate an immediate number. So the immediate number can go to the ALU logic to do the logic operation. And finally, we can use the result to go to the D-cache. The D-cache and the CSR. CSR means control and state register. So after this, we can write this data to the reg file again. So it finish the write back operation. That's a simple process of the RISC-V Mini. So let's move on. There is a demo code for a little fraction of the demo code. We can take a look at this. It contains some operations like add, subtraction. SRA means shift right arithmetic. SRL means shift left logic. SLL, SLT, SLTU, and or XOR copy. They are all do the operation in the ALU. So last code is about to get the sum. We can get the sum by A and B. What can we do? There is a sum. Sum means we can judge whether B is positive or negative. So we can get the sum result. Yeah, that's a simple demo code. Yeah, let's move on. Also, we can use a Verilator to generate the project. We can see that there is already finished simulation completed. Yeah. After this, we can check out the waveform from the result. We can see that there are input A and B, and we can have ALU operation. We can check the out result and the sum result. Here it is. And so let's make a conclusion. RISC-V Mini is a simple RISC-V processor core implemented in Chisel, featuring an ALU register file, control logic, and the support for subject of RISC-V 2022I instruction set. So that's all I prepared today. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
So do I need to do anything else?
Just stop your sharing, that's all.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, I have pinned you and we're ready whenever you are.
Want to share the other screen?
Perfect. We can see your slide.
Hello, everyone. My name is Farzana Ulyanijad, and I'm a PhD student in vision science at SUNY Optometry, supervised by Dr. Jose Manuel Alonso. Today, I'm excited to share our findings on modeling visual spatial distortions experienced by individuals with amblyopia, commonly known as lazy eye. Amblyopia is a developmental disorder of the visual cortex that affects millions of people worldwide. It is known for impairing visual acuity and shape perceptions. While the loss of visual acuity has been linked to the weakened cortical responses, the neural basis for perceptual distortions remains poorly understood. In this study, we provide evidence for a similar mechanism underlying distortions in shape perception. We introduce a computational model that explains these distortions by connecting them to cortical activation, spread, and contrast sensitivity deficits. Our findings propose a neuronal mechanism where weak visual responses in amblyopia are compensated by an increased cortical response spread, similar to the effect of lowering stimulus contrast. Let's start with the simplest perceptual distortions in amblyopia, a pattern of the lines crossing the perceived grading stimulus. In this figure, the top row displays horizontal grading stimuli with increasing spatial frequency from left to right, while the bottom row shows amblyopic perceptions adapted from Barrett et al. Study. Notice how distortions worsen as special frequency increases. However, amblyopic distortions are often more complex, as we'll discuss shortly. To simulate these distortions, we developed a computational model using a weighted sum of rectified grating filters. Panel A provides an overview of our model. The top grating stimulus is the model input, and the distorted visual percept at the bottom is the model output generated by saturating the weighted sum of two filter percepts in this example. Each filter percept illustrated in panel B results from applying an offset for adjusting the dark light duty cycle to the filter, followed by saturation. The filter weight shown in panel C is calculated by averaging the convolution between the filter and the stimulus, scaled by an amblyopia constant. The final distorted visual percept shown in panel D is obtained by saturating the weighted sum of these filter percepts. We optimize the model parameters by minimizing the perceptual distance between original amblyopic drawings and simulated percepts, measured as normalized Laplacian pyramid distance. The simple yet powerful model accurately simulates a large variety of visual distortions using on average only 3.3 filters. This figure shows simulation of distorted percepts for 4 amblyopic individuals. In each panel, the top rows represent amblyopic subjects' drawings of 5 special frequencies for horizontal and vertical gratings. And the rightmost panel plot contrast sensitivity functions for amblyopic eyes with open symbols and flow eyes with filled symbols, highlighting the contrast sensitivity loss in amblyopia. The bottom rows show our model's corresponding simulated visual percepts and contrast sensitivity functions. Our model effectively simulates diverse patterns from wavy and zigzag lines to fragmented patterns and irregular scotoms. Figure 4 further highlights our model strengths in simulating complex visual distortions. The top row shows amblyopic subjects' drawing of the grating stimuli. Labels at the top indicate the subject initials, the stimulus special frequency in cycles per degree, and orientation in degrees. The middle row shows the simulated visual percepts generated by the model. The bottom row presents the orientation, special frequency, and phase of contributing filters in these simulations. To explain why our simulations use filters with mismatched special frequency, we hypothesize that amblyopic contrast sensitivity loss affects neural special frequency tuning and distorts the special frequency components of visual percepts. To test this hypothesis, we analyzed the special frequency tuning of neurons measured at different stimulus contrasts in the cat dorsal lateral geniculate nucleus, LGN. At the top of this figure, we show 2 examples of the LGN neurons classified as off-center blue color and on-center red color by mapping their receptor fields and special frequency tuning at different contrasts. Our analysis and demonstrate that reducing stimulus contrast weakens visual responses in both on and off pathways, but this reduction varies across spatial frequencies. Panel E illustrates our neuronal population in which low contrast caused a paradoxical increase in preferred special frequency. On average, low contrast reduced visual responses 2 times more for low special frequency compared to high special frequencies, shown here in panel F and G. These findings suggest that changes in neuronal special frequency tuning due to contrast loss may contribute to distortions in special frequency components of visual perception. Consistent with this interpretation, bootstrap analysis of filter special frequency distributions revealed a paradoxical shift toward higher frequencies, shown in panel A, similar to the shift caused by contrast reduction in thalamic neurons. By comparison, mismatches in filter orientation, panel B, and dark light duty cycle in panel C are more pronounced, likely contributing significantly to perceptual distortions. Moreover, our results demonstrate that the magnitude of visual distortions in amblyopia strongly correlates with contrast sensitivity deficit, shown in panel D. In visual cortex, reduced stimulus contrast weakens neural responses and increases cortical spread. Similarly, contrast sensitivity loss and weakened responses in amblyopia might also increase cortical spread. We tested this by simulating monocular cortical responses to grating stimuli, shown in panel E, using a computational model of primary visual cortex previously introduced by Najafi and al. Our simulations showed larger activated cortical areas for amblyopic eyes compared to the flow eyes, strongly correlating cortical activation spread with contrast sensitivity loss. In summary, our finding revealed clear connections between contrast sensitivity deficit, cortical activation spread, and perceptual distortions in amblyopia. They suggest that weakened inputs in the amblyopic cortex are compensated by increased cortical spread, resembling the effect of low contrast in the visual cortex. According to this mechanism, the increase in cortical spread activates neuron with mismatched stimulus preferences that generate perceptual distortions. This project is supported by NIH grants, and I'd like to thank my colleague Jianzhang Jin, Sohrab Najafi, and Akito Maruya, Kasim Zaidi, and especially my advisor, Dr. Jose Manuel Alonso, for his invaluable support. Thank you for your attention, and I'd be happy to take any questions.
Great, thank you very much. All right. So Nelson, I'm gonna have you come back up.
Hi, Michaela. Did you get my PowerPoint?
I sure did. Give me 1 second here. And I will. All right, now I need to do one more thing here. Now I'm going to share. And I'm going to start.
Just 2 slides.
All right. Can you see that?
Yes, thank you, Michaela.
Is that in full screen mode or do you see?
That's fine. Yeah, full scale. It should, if it's in a slideshow, it should go back to the second slide. I think after 15 seconds, something like that.
Okay.
That's fine. I'm ready to start anytime.
All right, go ahead.
Hello, everybody. My name is Nelson Mason, and I'm a student at Empire State University. I'm be graduating in a few weeks from the Information Technology curriculum, Master of Science degree. My professor for the term project, my thesis is a professor, he's a PhD, Andrew Hurd, and I'd like to thank him for helping me with this project. But last summer, Delta Airlines had a problem. How do I know? My middle niece was in Europe at the time. And when I explained that I was doing this project for the State University of New York, she told me that she got stranded in Europe. She was scheduled to come back on Delta Airlines. She had to go on a different airline company to get back to Los Angeles. So she knew about this. Why did Delta have this problem? And seemingly American Airlines, a competitor of Delta, did not have such a severe problem as Delta. What can Delta do about it the problem that they had, that it doesn't happen in the future, this particular type of problem. So I'm reading from my abstract. 7,000 canceled flights in the week from July 19th to roughly July 25th, 2024. And what can Delta do about it to prevent this from happening? Delta Airlines and all the, it's really not just the airline industry, it was a lot of people throughout the world in the transportation industry, banking, hospitals, government agencies. They have a computer system that has a constantly monitoring for anti-hacking. It's a monitoring agent. Different companies issue these. A company called CrowdStrike has a software program called Falcon. It's similar to, I guess you can say, Norton or McAfee in terms that it monitors the memory. It stays in memory, active memory of a computer, monitoring for hacking, and is designed to stop hacking, intrusion, and affecting negatively the computer and the computer system. So on that date, not as a hacking event or incident, but there was an update by CrowdStrike that failed. And this failed update, it turned out that it failed right after it was issued, went out to 8.5 million computers throughout the world that were running Windows operating system and CrowdStrike Falcon at the same time. It was in the middle of the night on that night. So what happened was those 8.5 million computers had a blue screen as soon as they updated from Falcon. It was unintentional. It was an accident. It was a poorly tested update. The CEO, Ed Bastian of Delta, was talking to George Kurtz, the CEO of CrowdStrike, and Mr. Kurtz acknowledged that it was a mistake on his company's part. 8.5 million computers worldwide, 40,000 at Delta Airlines. And as you can see from the graph, American 150 flights canceled that Friday, and I think about 50 on Saturday. And you can see from the chart again that Delta had about 1,500 flights canceled about 4 days in a row, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So what was the difference? Delta Airlines did not have a backup communication system. And that's why I put in the first slide, it is so critical to a computer system in an industry where it's constantly changing. Cancel flights due to weather, a maintenance problem with a particular airplane. They have to reschedule constantly, not only throughout the United States, but throughout the world. All the major airlines, even the smaller airlines, have to constantly update and upgrade their schedule according to all these variables. And if they are not able to do so, they'd have to cancel flights because the flight crew would not know where to go for their next flight once they land at a particular airport. So the communications between a airline company's headquarters and the flight crew of each flight at every airport that airline services is absolutely critical to making sure that that as a passenger that your flight is on time and is not canceled. And so American Airlines had a backup system that worked. And Delta Airlines didn't. My thesis and my research project is about what Delta can do so this doesn't happen again. My recommendation to Delta Airlines through this research project is to implement a dual boot system, DUAL-boot, BOOT, where a flight crew member, once they land at an airport, can go into Windows or choose to go into Linux, Red Hat. It's a different operating system. So there's no single point of failure. No matter what the problem is with those computers, with Windows, they can always go into Linux, certainly as a backup plan in case there's a problem with a Windows-based computer until the problem is fixed. You can say consequently that if there's a problem with Linux, they can go into Windows instead. Delta Airlines and many of the airlines use a company called Kyndryl, and Kyndryl has a application that runs both on Linux, Red Hat, and Windows to their company's computers. Kyndryl does the scheduling. It is outsourced by Delta for their scheduling of their flight crews and the flights themselves, and the maintenance schedule for these airplanes and equipment. So that is the plan. Delta Airlines, my cost estimate was $11.2 million for the issues of Linux, Red Hat onto 40,000 computers, plus labor to train the Delta crew and staff to how to use the dual boot system. And it is a redundant and reliable system because there is no single point of failure, which is exactly what happened on July 19th, 2024, particularly with not just airline companies, but any company that did not have a backup communication network system. And I hope that Delta implements this type of problem-solving solution in the near future. This is applicable, this type of solution, in many industries, not just the airline industry. Any company or government agency that normally uses Windows for their computers can implement this type of solution, so that there is always data communication back and forth between the server, the main computer, and the people, no matter where they are, that have access to a computer. It will always be able to send and receive information. And in an emergency situation, which is this problem that CrowdStrike Falcon unintentionally caused, it was an emergency type situation for the airline industry and other industries. Any questions, please? Hi, that is Ms. Michaela. Hi.
Hi.
Anybody have any questions? Michaela, do you have any questions?
I do not.
Well, the good news is my niece got back to Los Angeles safe and sound. A couple of days passed. Delta had a huge bill. They had to pay for all the other airlines to take these passengers and their luggage, which may have been stranded all over the country and throughout the world, to wherever they had to go. Passengers back in October filed a class action lawsuit against Delta Airlines. About the same time, Delta filed a lawsuit against CrowdStrike. I don't know what happened since then, but Professor Hurd said that's other type of issue. Concentrate on a technical solution for this particular project. Don't get into the legal or the financial aspects of the lawsuits involved. Just stick with the IT, information technology kind of solution that Delta, as you said, Nelson, he's saying to me, that they can do on their own without having to rely upon any other, company, more or less. The cooperation is there through normal business channels. So that's what I implemented. I mean, my suggestion and to this type of problem should be part of a disaster recovery plan for this type of problem. It's not designed to replace Microsoft or CrowdStrike. The Delta and other companies can still use that software and equipment. It's designed to supplement by having a data communications system that will work in the event there's a problem with Windows and or CrowdStrike.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much. Does anyone have questions for any of our presenters? If not, there are still other rooms, breakout rooms that are available. So if you want to jump into another room and watch some of the other presentations, you're more than welcome to.
Thank you, Michaela.
All right, you guys have a great weekend.
Same to you.